correct. And right now we're pressing off the Napa County Calistoga Merlot. And as you can see here, we have your typical bladder press, which functions by using water pressure from a hose to squeeze the fine wine out of your grapes. And today we're pressing off about 30 gallons of wine. And so that would be the equivalent of just about 9 or 10 pails if you were to buy them from me, with a yield of 3.2 gallons, which is about average. And this is actually what I fermented in. And also this is what I use to transport grape must, because I can seal them from the top. So I'm just going to pour some of this grape must into my press here. And this is just one of my favorite pleasures with winemaking. It's just a simple task of filling up the basket. And then hearing the sound of all that wine come flowing out. And as you look at this, you can just see this is a nice, rich color. Take another scoop here and pour this in. Yes, and you know, another thing that just doesn't come through on video is the wonderful smell that you get when you're doing this. Just and especially, you know, the high quality grape, it's just amazing. And at this point, you feel like you're turning the grapes into wine. In fact, the wine is in the grapes. All you have to do is use this bad boy to get it out. So here we're going to switch out the buckets and try not to waste very much wine. And now we're coming over to a food grade bin that I like to keep the wine in for a day and let it settle out so that I don't get too much particulate in the barrel. And then also to stop particulate, I use this large guy here. Just prop it up like so. Then we pour the wine in. Just gorgeous looking wine coming out of this, and just, yes, just very nice. And then you can see that this thing does produce results. As you can see, a lot of particulate has been captured. Oh yeah, and there she is, completely full. You can see we have this is a good sign that it's full, because you have a little bit spraying off right here, and so that means that you've packed it in there well enough, and now it's time to press off. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our lid here and put it on down. Make sure that's on there good. And we're going to tighten her down, and then we're going to put on our protective cover here. And what this does is, because the grapes will be under pressure, without this, the wine will just go shooting everywhere, and you're going to lose a lot of your precious Napa Merlot. And, you know, if you were to buy this from me at $190 a pail, you know, depending on where it ships, you're looking at about $11 per bottle, which, is, if you're making a lot of wine at home, that might seem high, but if you consider the fact that right next door you have the Three Palms Vineyard that's selling a Merlot pretty similar to this for $90 to $100 a bottle, it's actually an exceptional value to make this at home, and especially if you're a knowledgeable winemaker. And as soon as you get your hands on these grapes, I think you'll become a believer. And so, as you can see, my bucket here is nearly full, so we're going to switch that out before we turn on the press. And just look at this nice, rich, dark color. Oops. A little sacrifice for the video there, but well worth it. So now we're going to be ready to turn on the press. So over here is, I like to leave, when I'm using a press like this, I like to leave the water on and just use this little tool right here to turn the flow on and off. And now we're going to turn the water on, and then we're going to cut off the exit right here. And now if you come up here, we're going to hold down, you see here, this releases air from the bag, and you will break your press if you don't hold this down until water comes out. And that will just take as long as the pressure from your hose takes to fill up the bladder within the press. And this job is something where, even with a small press like this, it's probably best to have at least 2 people. Otherwise, you may risk losing some wine. This is certainly my favorite part of winemaking. And one of the reasons I love this part is because I think this is where you first get your first genuine taste of what your wine is going to be. Oh, and here comes the water. And so there's no more air in there to destroy the press. And the wine is flowing at a very good rate here. And we're just going to grab a quick sample to see what's coming out of here. And I like this point because this is the point where the wine is most complete as far as when it comes out the press. Because otherwise you get sort of different grades as it comes out the press, because you have different levels of pressure, you see. And this is the one that I find to be the most telling. You can see that the consistency, the quality is what you would expect for a wine. I mean, first off, there's great tannins on the back of the tongue. Well, you have that earthiness, and also towards the tip, you're getting that nice fruit that any lover of Merlot will appreciate.